URC Power Rankings for round number 1. If you guys followed me with Super Rugby in 2020, you'll know all about the Power Rankings. Kind of ranking the teams week by week to see where their form and overall standings should be. So it's kind of an alternative to the actual table. But instead of kind of weighting all games evenly, we're looking at games with certain factors like, are you playing a team who is strong or against a team who is weak? So in my mind, for these power rankings, a win over Leinster would be worth more than a win over Zebre. For example, are you home or away? Are you winning by kind of a close margin, a normalish margin, or a massive margin? How recent are the results? I'm kind of putting more weight on recent results. So that's the idea with the power rankings. Take them with a bit of a grain of salt, but hopefully they're a bit of fun. I certainly like doing them. They were kind of one of my favorite videos that I've enjoyed over the years, and I'm looking forward to doing them with the USC. Now, after 1 round and 2 rounds and 3 rounds, it'll all kind of be all over the shop, and then hopefully as we get a bit more data in, as we get more results, things will kind of not jump around too much. But anyway, we'll get cracking, and you guys can let me know your thoughts. 16th, I've got Zebre. Actually, that one matches the bookies rankings because these guys were supposed to be the worst team in the URC, according to the bookies. Anyway, they lost at home to a team which was supposed to be pretty bad. So there you go. That's kind of the thinking behind Zebre being there in 16th. So over the course of the season, I'll kind of make my mind up on who are the strong teams, who are the medium teams, who are the weak teams kind of thing. But according to the bookies, the Lions were not supposed to be one of the strongest teams, and they still lost to them at home. So there you go. That's the logic. The Stormers are in 15th. They were away from home, so not as kind of much of a punishment for them, but they did lose to, again, one of the teams that was supposed to be one of the weakest teams in Benetton. Now, maybe that's just the bookies having a bit of a laugh and not giving credit to Benetton for their actual strength, but until we get a few results into the season, I may change that up. But anyway, there you go. That's the thought with the Stormers. Dragons, again, it's a home loss. Not many teams lost at home this week, but Dragons and Zebre were two of the teams that lost. Were the two teams that lost at home. So kind of punished accordingly for those home losses. And against the team which was supposed to be doing kind of decent without being one of the front runners. So there you go. And the bottom one is the Bulls. Now, admittedly, they were away from home and they were against a top favourite team, so against a really strong team. But boy, did they get hiding. So that's the thinking behind that. So a Welsh team, a Italian team, and 2 South African teams. The South African teams may suffer a little bit early on these because they are on the road. But over the course of the season, again, we'll kind of see how things even out. Into 12th? 13th, we've got the Sharks. 12th, yes. We've got the Sharks. Now, the Sharks also lost. They also got done pretty badly. But in a similar situation to the Bulls, I think I've scored them pretty much exactly the same as the Bulls. But I've got them one spot higher, essentially because they scored a few more points. They conceded more points as well. So kind of, it's much of a muchness between them and the Bulls. It's the same logic. They went away to a team which is supposed to be one of the top dogs in the season and got thumped. So there you go. That's why the Sharks are there. Connacht here at 11th spot. Now, Connacht were away from home, as most of the teams who lost this week are. Cardiff was a team that wasn't supposed to do a heck of a lot. It's supposed to be kind of a mid-ranked team, but they did lose. And that's kind of why they're not down further, and that's why they're not up closer. If it had been a bit closer, I might have Connacht in 9th or 10th, but it is 11th for them. Scarlets, kind of a very similar situation to Connacht, really, with their loss. It was away. It was against a similarly ranked team, and the game was kind of close enough that I can keep them in 10th. And Glasgow, the best of the losers, their game was legit very close. And again, it was against the team which was, I think, 3rd in terms of the bookies' odds, so slightly ranked above Scarlets. But there you go. That's 2 rows of the teams who lost their games. I don't give any points for losing, so you need to win some games to work your way up the power rankings, but you don't lose as many for things like losing away, losing to strong teams, and losing by a small margin. So there you go. Into the winners. Edinburgh are here in 8th spot. Edinburgh did get a win. It was close. It was very close, and I've scored them pretty much similar to Benetton, and pretty much similar to Ulster. Actually, I've scored these guys all pretty much of a muchness. You can kind of interchange that 6, 7, and 8 as you will, because they all had very similar results. They were all close games. They were all won at home, and they were all over teams who were supposed to be kind of mid-ranked teams. So yeah, much of a muchness between those three. And then Ospreys round out the second row in 5th. The only thing they did differently was get a win away from home, albeit above a team who wasn't supposed to do that well. So you could, by all means, drop them below Ulster, Benetton, and Edinburgh. But for my purposes, I'm saying away wins are harder to come by than wins over teams which are ranked kind of mid-table. So there you go. You can disagree or you can agree, but it's all a bit of fun. Top row. I have got Cardiff here at number 4. Cardiff got a pretty solid win, I'd have to say. Their win over Connacht was a team which was, again, Connacht were maybe a bit shortchanged by the bookies in terms of their odds, but it was a decent win. It wasn't a 7-pointer, you know what I mean? It wasn't a bonus point loss for Connacht, so it was a big enough win that I've kind of credited Cardiff with that. It was at home. They do have to go on the road to Ospreys next week, so we'll see if they can kind of keep that up. 3rd, and goodness me, I used to have these guys way up my power rankings back in Super Rugby 2018, 2019. The Lions. You only beat Zebre, man, but you beat them by a decent enough margin, and you got to win away from home. Away wins were hard to come by, so kind of similar logic. Them and the separation between them and Ospreys, to be honest, is also very little. We're only got 1 round in, so I think it's pretty much only the margin that's the difference there, because Ospreys' game was slightly closer, whereas the Lions put a few more points over Zebre, so that's why they get marginally ahead. Kind of no surprises. Munster are here in 2nd. Big win over the Sharks. And Leinster are here at number 1. The main difference is Leinster's opponent on paper and prior to the season starting, the Bulls were supposed to be a higher ranked team than the Sharks. So there you go. That's kind of how it's all worked itself out. Like I mentioned, the power rankings are just a bit of fun. I like doing them. Round 1, round 2, round 3 is going to be a bit messy. It's right now a very clear division. Winners here, losers here. But as we get 2 or 3 rounds in and we start to reduce the weighting on the round 1 results as they're a month old kind of thing, and as we get kind of more data to go by, hopefully it becomes a bit of fun. Inevitably, my formula breaks. I adjust my formula every year that I've done power rankings, because I've only really done it for Super Rugby before. Inevitably, it breaks. But I've tinkered with it, and fingers crossed this season it's a bit more stable. By the end of the season, I'm usually manually adjusting teams because I don't agree with the results that are coming out of the formula. But anyway, we'll see how things goes, guys. You guys let me know your thoughts. How do you think these teams rank? Obviously, as I mentioned, the South African teams were all away, so they are kind of punished there. The Italian teams both started at home. We do have a few good rivalry games, like with Edinburgh facing Benetton, I think it is. So that's kind of a Scottish-Italian conference rivalry match. Likewise, Cardiff and Ospreys should be an interesting one. So we do have some teams who are kind of close to each other on the power rankings to match up. But yeah, we'll see how things go. You guys let me know your thoughts. And I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.